like boo, like scary, but also like drinking, but I'm underage. It's fine. I just really like this shirt. Happy Wow Such Monday, everybody. Daniela here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are in a completely different location, and that is because I have a very special story time video planned with a very special guest. Everyone, welcome Alyssa! Welcome to my channel, Alyssa. Are you excited for today?
Yes.
Okay. Today, we're actually going to be talking about this weird phenomenon, per se, that had been happening in her garage, which is like directly next to her room, and basically her garage was haunted for like a small, not even a small, a good like
a couple of months.
A good like since June. A good like 4 months we thought her house, or specifically her garage, was haunted. So
well, I started hearing it in early June, but I live with my grandparents and they get thirsty in the night and they like to go to the kitchen to get water and they like to also slam doors.
Yes.
So that's what I thought it was for like June, July, and like till the end of August.
Because initially we stay up late, we're teenagers, but like, she'd text me every once in a while, like in the night, she'd be like, hey, I just heard like this slamming, like specifically from like the left side of her room, and I was just like, I mean, okay, I was like, is someone just awake? And she was like, I don't know, she was like, it happens. At first we didn't realize how frequently it happened, but she'd be like, it's happening often, I just can't tell if it's like an everyday thing or if it's just something that's happening.
So then, at the end of August, I started timing the slams, or banging noise that I was hearing coming from my garage. And it happened every night, without fail, at 12:05 a.m.
At first she was just telling me about it in like June. So then like July I didn't really hear about it, and then it was near my birthday, I think, in August, she was like, dude, I've been timing it, and it's like 12:05 in the morning every day. And I was like, well, that's kind of spooky. And then like a part of me was like, I want to keep going over to her house, but I'm also kind of terrified because I don't want to deal with ghosts. So I was like, I don't need that.
Yeah, it's not a fun time. September, I went to go visit some family in the Bay Area, and one of my aunts told me like it might be a good idea to sage the house, which I figured would be a good idea if it was like a bad spirit or something like that. So when I came home, I bought the sage, and we saged the whole house, and the garage especially, like every corner, everything. I stayed up that night. I was home alone. Well, not home alone. My grandparents were in their bedroom, but they can't hear it because
the way the house is set up, it's like her room is, the wall on the left is directly connected to the garage. And so then she's like right near there, and then her grandparents are like more down the hall, too far away to where like they can't hear it if it were to happen. And it sounded as if someone was like banging on the garage door.
Yeah, like it
like
would
really hard.
Bang really hard that the garage door would shake and like
so it was frame. Like, yeah.
It would wiggle and make like a little laughter sound, if that makes sense.
So it was just like, who knows what it is.
Exactly. So then after I timed it and then did the sage, that night I stayed up because I was like, I need to see if it happens, and I'm too afraid to fall asleep. And I also couldn't sleep with the lights off at this point. Like I had to sleep with the lights on. I barely got any sleep.
Spooked. Real spooked.
It was bad, and like it was horrible. The noise happened again after I saged, so I was like, all right, I'm ready to die. I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, I'm convinced that this is something trying to communicate with me.
Also, like, in between all of that, she was losing little things, like, around her room. So let's say she would, like, go to do her makeup, and she's like, okay, I gotta grab, like, my mascara. Her mascara would be gone. And it wasn't as if it was like she didn't grab it before she started her makeup. It's like everything would be laid out. It'd be where she'd be doing something and see it as she's grabbing something else. 2 seconds later, look, and it's literally gone. Like, it got up and just walked away.
Yeah.
And then I was like, are you sure you're not just hearing things? I don't know. I was like, are you sure you're not just, like, tired and delusional? And so then, first, our friend Anna heard it with her. So I was like, okay, confirmed.
Yes.
Not just you. And then we had gone to go see Suicide Squad. Great movie, by the way, in my opinion. But we had gone to go see Suicide Squad, and something happened before we went to the movie. Her grandfather was going to be, like, out of the house for, like, a while. So, you know, we were just like, if we hear something, it's him late coming inside the house. So we're like, okay, we go to the movie, we go to, you know, a local coffee shop that we have, blah, blah. We come back, we stay up again, obviously. And so we're just talking and stuff like that. And then we hear the noise. What I didn't know that was what the noise sounded like at first. So, like, we heard a banging, and I was just like, was that her grandfather coming home? And so then we were just like, yeah, that's probably
him.
It's probably him. That's probably what it was. And so we were just like, oh, whatever. And then we kept talking. The next day, we find out that, like, hours before that bang happened, he was already home. So then I was like, oh, that's when I realized, like, I was a witness to seeing or to hearing what the banging was. I decided, you know, maybe we'll just re-cleanse. So I was like, let's get some more sage. Let's just try and, like, do this over again. And then, like, when we started talking about, like, what spirit it could be. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think it's malicious. I didn't think. I was like, I don't feel. When I would hear it, of course I get spooked because I'm like, huh, it's real. Yeah. But I was like, I don't feel unsafe per se, like being in the house. So I was like, maybe it's like a little kid, like, trying to play with you, you know? Because, like, she was getting stuff taken from her, and I was like, I think it was just a little kid trying to get you to notice them and be like, play with me, but it's like, I got shit to do, so don't take my stuff. Yeah. It's like, I'm really not trying to deal with all that. So then and this was 2 weeks ago? Yeah. It was like the end of September, and I was like, dude, we just gotta cleanse it. And so then we redid it, and then I stayed up this time and was like fully coherent, and I, like, was checking the time, and I looked at my phone and it was 12:04, and I was like,
I shushed. I was like, we gotta pause everything.
Yep.
Stop what we're watching. Be quiet.
Yep. She was like, and then I turned to her. I was like, is it gonna happen again? She was like, I hope not. I hope we did something. And I was like, oh man. And so then we heard the bang again, and this time it was like very significant. Like, it clearly happened. It was not something that was just like, oh, was that a little creak in the house? Yeah, it was like, it definitely was that. And then I turned to her and I was like, that was it, huh? And she goes, yep. And I checked my phone. It was 12:05. I was like, I'm shook. I was like, I'm the definition of shook right now. Yeah. No, it was 12:05 on the dot, and we heard it.
Then we told my grandparents. I had already told my grandpa because when I cleansed the house the first time, my grandma was in Chicago, and he was sort of like, I don't believe it kind of a thing. And I was like, no, it is a ghost. And, so then when my grandma got home, we cleansed again, and then Danielle was here, and we told my grandma, and my grandma was like, well, I want to stay up and hear it. Like, I think it could be what you're thinking, but, like, she was also a little skeptical, but on my side still.
Everybody's always skeptical.
And so the next night, I come home from a friend's house late, specifically just to hear the noise. Because I was like, if it happens again, I'm leaving. Like, I cannot stay here in my room alone. Yeah. I can't sleep here. I don't get sleep. She texted me. I had work that day morning, but I got back at like 10 p.m. And so then she texted me at like 11, and she was like, dude, it's really bad today. I can't. And she was like, if something happens, I'm going to your house. And I was like, well, door's open. I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'll stay up specifically for that so that I'm not asleep. And she's like banging on my door like, please help me. So then she texted me before, and she was like, if it happens, I'm dipping so hard. Got your grandma right. Yeah, so then I came in the house. It was like 12:03. I was like, get out of your bed and come into my room. So she got out of bed, we came and sat in my room, and she was getting scared. And I kept looking at the clock, and then I shushed her, of course, at 12:04. And then the clock changed to 12:05, and I was like, okay, it didn't happen right away. But she was like, what if it? And then I was like, shh. And then it happened. And it was still 12:05, so the bang happened, she heard it, and then she shushed me, and I was like, that was it, and she went, shh, I hear footsteps.
This is where, I just got chills right now thinking about it again. I was like, this is where first she texted me and was just like, the sound happened, and I was like, was not surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 seconds later, she's like, my grandma heard footsteps. And I was in my house like, get the hell out. Like, please run away.
Yeah.
I was like, this is, because we had never, not once, heard footsteps. Oh, but the clicking of the door.
Yeah, at 12, the door to the,
So, like, it's a long hallway, so it's like her grandmother and grandfather's, like, room, and then a hallway, and then her room, and then at the very end is this door that leads to their laundry room, and then the garage.
Mm-hmm. And that door, every night at 12, I would hear it click, like, closed. Like, it would click closed, so the door was, like, closing, and then at 12:05, the big bang would happen. Bad.
We assumed maybe intruder, but then
Yeah.
I was like, why every night? Why this house?
Yeah.
Why at this specific time?
And why all of a sudden?
Mhm.
Like, I did not whatsoever. I've never had problems in this house before. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense for a ghost to just appear. So then my grandma, since she heard the footsteps, was like, call security for the gates because we live in a gated community, so a car, like, roams around all night to make sure there's
Like,
no
constantly.
mysterious activities going on outside of the houses. So I called and they're like, okay, we'll send someone over to go check it out because I didn't want to go, like, in case there was someone outside or inside of my house banging on my garage door, I didn't want to go do it. I didn't want to get killed.
Yep.
Better the security than me. So I was getting spooked. They were taking forever. So I was like, all right. I told my grandma, I was like, I'm going to go to Daniela's. You can stay here and wait for the security. Is that all right with you? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll just wait for the security. So I was like, can you walk me out to my car? Because I am afraid.
She's real spooked.
My grandma walked me to my car. As we're walking out to my car, the security drives down to the end of my street. And I live on like a dead end.
It's a court.
And so they drive down the street. And they turn around and go back.
But they didn't go fully to her house or anything. It was like they went halfway and were like,
okay.
and then left. And then, like, she texted me and she was like, we called security. And I was like, good. And then she texted me again and she was like, they didn't do anything. And I was like, what? And she was like, they drove down. Then they drove away. And I was like, well, that sucks.
Unreliable.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
She gets there and I was like, dude, we gotta bust this. I was like, I don't know what this is. I hit my knee and my reflex like kicked my leg up. But like I was like, we gotta figure this out.
Mhm.
This is too much. Cause then I was like, no offense, I'm not staying in your house. I was like, if we hang out, you're coming here because no. And so then she comes and I was like, you know, we could look up the deed of her house and look up who used to live here and like if anyone died. Yeah, the history of the house basically. I don't know if you guys have seen like ghost documentaries where they'll do that so that you can see what it could possibly be.
Mhm.
So we're like, okay, well, let's just do that. And like as we're searching, I have 2 beds in my room, so I was on my bed and she was on the other one, and I just hear her go, Daniela, I don't know if I want to know if anyone died in the house.
Yeah,
and I was like,
no,
what? And
I
she
was
was like, I don't think I want to know. And I was like, okay, but what if I know? And like,
yeah,
I can't
I was
just...
like, you can look it up, just don't tell me if anyone did. I was like, I really do not.
But
like,
then
I
if
can't
someone did,
handle
what was
that.
I supposed to...
That's true, but then what if someone had died here and it wasn't a ghost and now I'm just nervous?
Oh, okay. Anyway, so then we tried looking it up, and I got to this site, and I was like, dude, I think I found it. I was like, it's gonna be great. And I put in like her address and like blah blah, and all that kept coming up was just her grandparents' name, because that's who the house belongs to. So I was like, well, this literally did nothing.
Mhm.
And then it like showed past owners, but it didn't show anything.
Like, about them.
And then I went to this other one and it was something like deceased.com. It was very, very sketch, like probably unreliable, but I was like, let's go for it anyway. So then I clicked on it and I put in all the stuff again and nothing came up. And I was like, you're safe, you're clear. And she was like, good, because I was not about to search that. And I was like, but then I started getting scared for you. Like, I was putting in your stuff and I was like, I don't need to see.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
someone
know.
was murdered in the garage. And I was going to be like, oh,
That's
great.
no problem.
I was like, that's fantastic.
Then the next day, I had my friend Lexi spend the night. And, because she hadn't heard the noise yet, but she's always at my house for some reason, she's never heard the noise.
And, like, she works at Barnes & Noble. So, like, every time we would go to the mall, we'd always see her and be like, Lexi, once again, swear I was there this time. We heard the noise. And she was getting like kind of hype over it. She was like, oh my gosh, what if it is a ghost? And she was like, I want to hear it now. And I was like, you don't. It's
spooky.
really spooky. But she was like, no, I want to hear it. And I was like, okay.
So she came over to my house that night, and when we got home, my grandparents like told us like wake us up before the noise happened so that we can go and listen to it. And then another one of my friends was like, record the noise for me so I can hear it. I'm too afraid to go to your house and listen to it. So that night at like 12:03, I get them out of bed and we go into the laundry room because the laundry room and the garage
Are literally adjacent.
next to each other. So we open the garage door, like not the big garage door, but the door that goes from the laundry room to the garage, like handle. Anyway, so we open that up and it's dark in there, and for some reason my grandma enters, and
Smart. So smart.
and my grandpa's standing in the hallway with me and Lexi, and I was recording this. And so she goes in and she's like, well, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna. And I was like, everyone shut up, it's 12:04. I was like, shh. And it happened. And it was incredibly loud because we were all right in front of it. Like, we were all right there.
Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to enter the clip that she recorded so that you guys know what we're talking about.
Turn on the light. Baba, come back inside.
What was that?
Baba, get inside. Barbara, get in the house.
Did you hear it, Rick? Did you? Didn't it not?
Baba, get in the...
The light's on in the car. Well, it did it again.
So that's what that sounded like. Like this whole time, every time we would hear this banging, it was like that, except not as loud because the door wasn't open usually.
Right.
We would just be in her
We
room.
were in my room. So Lexi spooked. I was like, get out. I was like, get out of the garage.
You will get murdered first. Please
So
leave.
Leave the garage. So she came back inside the house. Lexi's like, this is weird. I don't like it. And my
Like,
grandpa goes to investigate. He goes into the garage. Meanwhile, Lexi, my grandma, and I are in my room talking. We're like, what could this be? Blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the noise happens again. And I was like, oh my god, this exact noise. My grandpa was still in the garage. And I was like, someone needs to go check on
And
him.
that's
He's
never-
dying.
And it's never... He's dying.
No, like, I don't know.
He's... Okay, we've never heard it twice.
Exactly.
That as well. Because I was just like, it always happens once, it's gone, we're done. But...
So I go to look for him, and so I figured it out. So it turns out it was the water heater the whole time. That was on a timer specifically to go off at 12:05 in the morning every day.
The water heater. Let's just... We sage the house. We cleanse the house. We wake up her grandparents. It's this whole thing. It was the freaking water heater. She texts me immediately and is like, so found out what was making the noise, and I was like, they're gonna find like a raccoon or something like in her house or something. It was the water heater. I literally dropped my phone. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We were spooked
For no reason.
by a water heater.
It's this thing called water hammer. And it happens, water hammer happens apparently. I could be wrong. We'll look it
It's
up.
fine. Just
It's when there's there's a pipe right above the garage door, a really big pipe, and that water flows through it, and there's not, like, if there's not water flowing through it for a certain amount of time, like, it stops flowing for a little bit. When it starts flowing again, it bangs.
and that's what was smacking the garage door. Well, that was anticlimactic. I'm so sorry for those of you that were like genuinely invested in this story. I lived it and I wish there was a better ending.
Me too.
It
was not.
It was just the water heater. So now you know, if you ever hear any banging or anything outside your house, could be the water heater. Yeah. And just make sure that don't go. Oh, that makes it sound bad. What if someone's like breaking into someone's house and they're like, it's just the water heater? That's not what I mean. I mean, if something happens that's like abnormal but also sounds like it could be something logical,
Mhm.
might be the water heater. So
And don't go about using Ouija boards in your own home.
No.
Don't do it.
Mm-mm.
Don't. People suggested that to me and I was like,
Why would...
Like 3 people suggested. I was like,
If you didn't
no.
have a spirit before,
You're gonna
you
have
will
one now.
after. So that is all that I have planned for today, for today's Monday. Thank you to Alyssa for coming and talking about your water heater experience.
Yeah.
I feel like this title is clickbait. Whatever. I thought it would be funny. Yeah, thanks for lending me your primo locale of your room as well. Yeah, so that was all that we have. I'm, again, sorry. It was just the water heater. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure that you like and subscribe and share my videos. It really helps me out a lot. Make sure you follow me on my social media. All the links will be in the description. And yeah, I will see you guys on Thursday with another video. Bye. Your grandparents were in the room in this house the whole time.
Yeah.
We're just talking to ourselves. It's normal.
Yeah.
Happy Wow Such Thursday, everybody. Wow, that's new. Seeing you on a Thursday. This is the second Thursday of Wow Such Spook Month. How do you guys like it?